I have many live albums, but I usually end up being unimpressed, or I have to listen to them multiple times to kind of to get over the shortcomings, to realize the brilliance, because sometimes the song might have presented that well, but the reason I like it is because it's got a different guitar solo from the album, that, or some sort of extended jam that's, that isn't there on the album. That's, otherwise I'm just being tortured by the lack of sonic quality,
Yeah.
And then you have the other problem, and not to disparage Pink Floyd, but I hate the fact that Pink Floyd's one of the greatest live bands of all time, but Dave Gilmour still insists on overdubbing his guitars and overdubbing his vocals.
Does he really? I didn't know that. Is that what he does?
Yeah, well, and apparently he's dishonest about it, because he's claimed albums like Delicate Sound of Thunder and Pulse were live recordings, and then the guys like, I don't know, I forget Andy Wallace, or I forget who did the mixing of those, is going like, no, Dave came in and overdubbed his guitars on this song and that song, and he fixed anything there, any mistake was removed. Like it's perfect because we made it perfect, not because it was performed perfectly.
Right. But in the days of video recording now, or the days of everybody's got a phone and every performance is recorded 100 times or more. I guess you couldn't probably get away with that claim, because people would simply A/B they simply compare the recorded published version with what was actually happening on the night, so you probably wouldn't get away with that. I don't have a problem with that, really. I think if somebody wants to put the work in to improve it and make it sound better, that's fine. But if you lose that kind of spontaneity, that's one of the things that's great about that Alex Harvey album, is it's so, there's 5 musicians on stage, and you can hear every single one of them all the time, and it's not that there are any mistakes that I've spotted. But it's raw as hell, and you can hear the audience all the time. So and that's a really, really difficult trick to get. Quite often the audience, to get a good sound, the audience is absent, because you have to have some of the room sound, and usually the room sound is shit compared with the board sound. So you're trying to compare these two things, and this was mixed in '75, so there was no sophistication to the mix. It was simply just let it run kind of thing, and they did a fantastic job of it. I don't quite know how they did it. It might be the venue, Hammersmith. I think it was Hammersmith Odeon. It might be that venue is good for that. By complete contrast, one of my other favourite live things. I'm not so keen on the record itself, but I think one of the best live concerts ever filmed is the River Plate, AC/DC at the River Plate, which is just,
that's a good one.
Just blows your mind every time. Blows my mind. I watch it all the time. Whenever I need inspiration, or just need, I just need to watch something fun, I'll just Highway to Hell or something like that, from that, and all those kids jumping up and down, and it's all youngsters. It's all just kids, which is, even when that was filmed in 2009, AC/DC were an old man's band then, but it's not in that arena. It's all just kids jumping up and down, thousands and thousands of them. Yeah, so those kind of live things I love, but I agree with you, so many live albums are disappointing, especially the ones that people, there probably will be people who listen to this and go and say, well, I must seek out that Alex Harvey album.
I hope so.
And listen to it and go, what the hell is this shit? Because I've heard so many people say, oh, this is a great live album. You go and listen to it and you think, no, it's not. It's not. Because the great live albums transcend they transcend the moment. They make something that's lasts forever, and you don't ever have to filter out mistakes or sonic problems. You just enter into it. The biggest disappointment I had recently in the last couple of years with live albums was the Queen one. They did Live Aid in, what was that, 86?
Yeah.
Was that 86? Yeah.
I forget the year, but I know the one you're talking about, though.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, 85 or 86. And, their Live Aid performance, again, legendary, one of the greatest live performances ever filmed, about 20 minutes long. And they came back to that same arena later on and recorded a live album there. It's called A Kind of Magic Live, I think that was their album at the time, and it's terrible. It's absolutely fucking horrendously bad. I was so looking forward to it, because I remember that concert being broadcast, the It's a Kind of Magic Live the BBC were in love with them. You know, they just loved the whole sort of Queen thing, and they would broadcast them whenever they could. So, you know, sit down a Saturday night and there's a live Queen broadcast, and it was great. You know, Freddie was on form, the whole band was, and they managed to, you know, obviously it's a very extended set, different from what they did at Live Aid. But so I was looking forward to hearing the live album, but it was produced so badly. I guess because the arena was so big that the live sound just went all mushy. You know, it was really bad, really disappointing. But so many live albums are like that. It's just, wow, what is this?
Yeah, the venue is a big thing too. Like, one of my favorite live albums. Actually, I'm not even sure it's available as an album or only as a DVD. But it's called Lamentations by Opeth. It was Opeth's first live release. Right at the time when they were toying with playing, like, not just death metal, but going into like the progressive rock area a little more.
Yeah.
And it's a single night performance. There's a couple mistakes here and there, and they leave them in. Like, it's all part of the charm of the band, you know. And I don't know if that's one of those things that it came out when I was a teenager, so it's one of my first live DVDs I'd purchased that makes it special. And Opeth was one of my favorite bands at the time, and I was right around that age where I was really getting into going to concerts on a regular basis without, parental permission, because I had a car, and I had a group of friends that would follow me to concerts, because I have a lot of friends that only saw concerts because I made them go with me because I didn't want to go by myself. That was one of those bands. Like, I remember taking my buddies Devin and Liam with me the first time to see Opeth, and they didn't even like heavy metal, and they wanted nothing to do with it. And I'm like, come on, the tickets are like $15. They're downtown Toronto. I'm gonna drive. And we ended up meeting the band before the show by accident. Like, we went to a burger joint, and my friend, the drummer, my friend Liam, was like, "Hey, look at those guys over there. They look like they're in a band," because they were dressed like how we were dressed, because we were all in a band. And I turned around and went, "That's Opeth." and he was like, "Oh, okay." And we went over and said hello, and they could barely speak English except for the lead singer.
They're Swedish, is that right?
Yeah, they're Swedish, yeah. And the lead singer speaks fluent English, and he's very hilarious. And I remember just saying to them, like, "You guys fucking rock." And Mike Ackerfeld said, "No, you rock."
That's nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. And then we went to and then when they were on stage and everything, we were right up at the front of the stage. And it was just, I remember the bass drum pounding my chest, and it was just one of those moments where I'm like, I want to do this every Friday night for the rest of my life, and I don't do it all that often anymore, but that's the one that really stuck with me.